Welcome to the Females Across the Pond and Beyond podcast. Hi, I'm Clara.
Hi, I'm Angie. We're here to share all things email and beyond. We go through the trials and tribulations of running your own business, being your own boss, and sending your own email marketing.
As email marketing experts, we're dedicated to helping small businesses thrive so they can have more freedom in their business.
Ready to get started? Let's dive into the episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Females Across the Pond and Beyond. We are so excited to dive into this topic today. Today, we are talking all about when is it time to let go of your email marketing channel and let somebody else take it over for you. We think that this is a very important thing to discuss because we just see time and time again our clients struggling with when is it time to let go, but also having a really hard time letting go because, it's your email account. It means a lot to you. Your name is sometimes on the emails, totally understandable. But hopefully we can kind of bring up some interesting points that'll make you reconsider where you're at with managing your own email account, Clara. Right?
Yeah, I'm excited about this one because this is really about mindset and like the whole idea of being in control,
Yeah.
and actually making the right decisions at the right time. So yeah, really excited about this podcast.
For sure. Before we dive in, give us a rundown. What's going on with you? What was your weekend like, or anything in your business that you want to talk about that's been exciting?
Yeah, I just was saying to you earlier, Angie, that I've got a client at the moment who is running um, I won't go into detail about, exactly what they do, but basically one of the things they were doing with their abandoned cart is they were putting absolutely everything in their abandoned cart. And for me, it's a big no-no. Like if you're abandoning cart, it's because you're focused on one particular thing. So we ran a test and actually there's a big uplift in performance for the um the version that had no other extra gumph in it. It was basically very single-minded, exactly how abandoned carts should be. And it's just great to have some evidence to show the client to say, actually, this is a direction we need to go for your abandoned cart. So that's business. And then in terms of home, just clearing stuff out, getting things ready for the autumn. It feels like summer is starting to fade. But
Yeah.
I love summer. And then I'm going on holiday next week to the Greek islands, and I cannot wait.
Woohoo!
Cannot wait. How about
That's
you?
no, that's very exciting. I'm super excited for you because you've been talking about this Greek island vacation for months. So
Yeah.
I'm ready for you to go on it because I'm like, this
Yeah.
girl needs a vacation.
Yeah. It's hard
Uh,
though. When you run your own business, like you
yeah.
do want to be accessible, but my boundaries are in place to say, actually, from these dates, I am not contactable. And I think that just comes from having people be able to answer questions on your behalf when you are away. But it's difficult. It's difficult. It kind of links to very well to the topic today, doesn't it? About when to let go.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, your marketing doesn't stop if you go on vacation. Your marketing still needs to be happening. So, how do you make that
Exactly.
happen, right? Um,
Exactly.
but no, things are good with me. Yeah, summer is winding down. It's almost back to school time. We actually I don't know if I let you know. Do you know what a HELOC is? Probably not.
No.
It's a home equity line of credit.
Uh-huh.
So we purchased our home back in 2021. And since then, the price of homes have gone quite up. They have
Hmm.
gone really high.
Yeah.
And so we have a good amount of equity in our house, and
Wow.
we've got approved for some money to take it out, and we're going to finish our basement, and we're going to put in a patio in the back. So we have
Oh,
been,
lovely. So
yes.
remortgage. So you're remortgaging.
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
That is
That
in the
must be your
UK, that's
term.
yeah. I know
Yeah,
exactly what you mean.
basically it's a
Yeah.
line of credit that we pay ourselves back on.
Yeah.
And it's at a lower interest rate than like a typical credit card. So
Yeah.
it's not as high. Um, so yeah, we basically have, it's crazy. I have like a debit card of like way too much money right now. I'm not going to use it on anything, but obviously we're just focusing on it. But like I could go crazy.
Go
Uh, but
shopping.
then my house, I could lose my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
So, but that's really exciting. We've had contractors coming out and we're getting quotes and we're excited to move forward on that because I want my living room to back to myself. I know like my living room is full of
Yeah.
toys and like craziness and mama needs her space and the boys and the kids need their space and that's going to be in the basement. And I'm also getting my own office.
Oh,
Um,
lovely.
so yeah, we're going to build it out to have two offices, a spare bedroom and a whole living room down there because it's the size of our entire house. So yeah,
Oh, that's
super excited.
amazing.
Yeah.
Ready for when I come to visit. I
Hell
haven't had an
yeah, we
invite
will
yet,
have a
but
room. You are welcome anytime. I don't know if
oh,
you'd want to come to Michigan though. Like,
yeah,
what's
I'd
in
like to do
Michigan? You'd have
you.
to do a mid, I know, right? Me. We could go to the Great
Um,
Lakes and,
yeah.
you don't
Yeah,
like,
I'm planning a US trip at some point. It would be nice. I have friends in across the States, family, and also in Canada. So it'll be an expensive trip, but worth it. So yeah, one
well,
day.
make a pit stop in Detroit and yeah, you'll have a place to stay. Okay, let's get into this episode because this is business owners. This is a conversation that we need to have face to face, and we're going to have it right now. So, yeah, knowing when it's time to delegate your email management out, and why is it an important decision? Why do you think it's an important decision, at least to make for yourself, maybe at the beginning of the year or whenever it is, to really just talk about like, what's working in my email and is it worth it to outsource? What do you think, Clara?
I think this is a really important decision to make at the right time. So
Mhm.
it's really important for business owners to be stepping back and thinking, right, where can I add value in my business versus how long is it going to take me to learn something new? Now, I'm all for development and learning new skills, but when you're a business owner, your time is precious and it's limited. So by all means, learn new skills, particularly if you're not if you're very new to marketing, even more so email marketing. But there comes a time where you're trying to spin too many plates and it becomes a case of you being then exhausted. You might be working all hours. You might even have a team and you're still working crazy hours. And there might be a feeling of, overwhelm. We've all been there with that feeling of, oh my God, where do I even start? The list is huge. Um, I mean, these are some of the things that you might be experiencing as a small business owner. And we want you to recognize that this is not a good place to be long
Yeah,
term. In fact, you
yeah,
don't want to even be here in the short term, right?
yeah. Yeah, and I feel you on like the overwhelm and the burnout. Like those are definitely
Yeah.
signs that it might be time to reevaluate. I also think another sign is are are your emails planned out? Like are you creating your emails ahead of time or is this last minute? Are you like oh yeah, we're gonna run a sale next weekend or this week, and I need to get this email at the door, and I need to write it like quickly, last minute thing. To me, that's kind of a sign that you might want to think about outsourcing emails. I think emails deserve time. The amount of money that can be generated from email marketing, it shouldn't be something that you're doing last minute. It shouldn't be something that's put on the back burner with everything else that you have going on. And as you said, like as business owners, typically you're also coming up with products or running your business or doing the things that you actually set out to do when you started your business. Like what made you start your business? It's typically not marketing.
Yeah.
Um, so the fact that you're juggling all of that, typically then that means that you're, whether it's your email marketing or social media, that is kind of left in the dust. And quite frankly, that's what makes you sales. It cannot be left in the dust. It needs to be a priority. So if it's not a priority for you, it might be a good time to make it a priority for somebody else.
Yeah, and actually, really good points. And actually, another point to raise here is actually, what is the performance of your email
Mm,
marketing? Are you actually looking at results, and actually how much are you making? And it's not always about sales, we know that, but what is your performance looking like? Is it increasing or is it decreasing?
right.
Part of knowing what to do next doesn't, these are things that are learned over time by myself and Angie. We know intuitively, okay, there's a problem here. We know how to fix it. But if you're a small business owner and you're seeing decline in performance, you could spend days, weeks trying to figure out what's going on. And you may not even get an answer because it can be complex. I know certainly for some work I'm doing at the moment, it takes approaching it in the right way, because otherwise you'll drown in numbers and stats and you'll just get completely lost. So depending on how big your list is and the amount of emails you're sending out, you need to have a good idea of what's working, what isn't working at a very basic level. And if you're not, and you're just literally sending stuff out without any kind of thinking behind it, then you're kind of wasting effort, really, and you're potentially damaging your list. You're not making sales. So there's a number of disadvantages to not being really clear about your performance and actually being really close to the ground on what's happening with your email list.
Yeah, and I think, if you are keeping it, and I would implore everyone listening to this podcast, take a moment and have a go look at your stats. Have your, are your click rates, at the benchmarks of if you I don't want to get too much into that, but if you Google like benchmarks for email marketing, Mailchimp has a tool that you can see what are the typical like average open rates and click through rates and placed order rates in my industry. I would implore everybody to look that up. That's kind of like a good place for you to be like, where are my stats compared to others in my industry? Is it going to be absolutely accurate? No, but it's a good place to begin. And if you find that your stats are lower and they haven't gone up and you're not increasing your revenue from email marketing, or maybe your click rates aren't increasing, that is also another sign that what you are doing is not working. And you might want to bring in an expert or somebody who like us who can see exactly what's going on and put things in place to improve that are going to be much faster than you just continuing to send emails that are not working. I think that's one of the things that I see whenever I do like one-off projects for clients, or I do like an audit. They kind of we get into a groove, we get comfortable with kind of doing the same thing over and over again because it's quick, it's easy. We don't have to think very much. We don't have to strategize. But I see that what they're doing isn't working, but they're not changing. So have a good hard look at, is my strategy working? And if it's not, even just like hiring an email marketer to give you a consultation or to, give you a couple pointers to be like, this is not working, or this is what we would suggest might be helpful as well.
Yeah, and
Because
I completely agree. And I know that a lot of you out there are very, as small business owners, we are by nature people that problem solvers. We want to fix things, we want to learn. Um, but one of the things that, it's worth calling out here is it may be something that is nothing to do with what you're actually doing. There might be a problem within your
that
data.
too.
So yeah, so for example, you might have been impacted by spam. And one of the things that's really key, and a lot of people don't realize this, is that you can't see a lot of the impact in your own email platform. It's actually external reporting that can tell you if there's a problem. So you could spend hours trying to fix things that are kind of beyond your viewpoints.
Yeah.
And it's a case of weighing up, how much is your time worth? If you're someone that, say, you make precious jewelry, or you're creating designs for your next line, or you're a service provider, whatever you're doing, you don't want to be spending hours and hours. I remember a client once said to me, she had spent 10 hours um, just creating one welcome email, and she was spending 10 hours a day. Um, because she was learning the
Wow.
platform at the same time. And that for me is way too much time. Like it
Not
should
worth
not
it.
take. It's not worth
No.
it. And you're
Just
having to
pay someone a
upskill.
couple $100
It's not
or
worth
whatever.
it. It's not
Yeah.
worth it. And it's like you're having to learn a whole platform on your own. And to be fair, like if you are on Mailer, like they're very intuitive and easy to use. But as your business scales and as you want to do more complex things, it becomes harder because you don't know how to do these things efficiently. You're learning, and therefore you're slowing your business down and actually then slowing your growth.
That's something that I kind of want to talk about because I think one thing that I don't know, I feel like we are, as business owners, we're running our social media accounts and we're running our email marketing accounts. Those are two very different things. Like to me, it's one thing, like social media to me is much easier for the average person to learn and manage. There really isn't a lot of like legalities, like regulations, like you know what to post and what not to post and what to do. It's pretty straightforward. Whereas an email marketing account is, I don't want to scare anyone, but it is pretty complex. And you get to a certain point where there are a lot of laws to follow. Like earlier on in this year, we had all of those updates with Google and Yahoo, and we were going into accounts and adding DMARC records like to their DNS. And like the average small business owner, if you're like, what's a DMARC record? What is a DNS? Which
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what you're thinking. You don't know what that stuff is. There's very complex stuff that comes with email marketing. And especially as you continue to grow your account, it just gets even more complex. It's a lot different than managing a social media account. I think as a business owner, you could run your social media account like for the long haul and like it's the same stuff. You don't really have to worry about, learning too many skills like once you get it going. With email marketing, you have to continue to be on top of the updates. You have to continue to learn new skills. And as it gets more complex and complicated, like, it requires more of your time. And so I think a lot of times business owners will first and foremost outsource their social media because it's time consuming. But so is email marketing, and email marketing is even more complicated and it also drives more revenue and more sales. To me, you should be outsourcing your email marketing well ahead of outsourcing your social media. You can do your social media. There comes a point where you will not be able to do your email marketing, and that's just the fact.
Yeah, completely agree. And Angie, if as small business owners listening to this podcast, like how do they know when is the right time to outsource?
I think that you need to really do a cost versus like benefit analysis as we kind of have here on our sheet. I think first and foremost, you need to understand how much of your revenue is coming from email marketing currently. And I think a lot of business owners don't even know that.
Yeah.
Um, that can be as simple as setting up a Google Analytics account. That's free. Again, like an extra skill, something else you have to do. But in order for you to really understand like what is the revenue that's coming in from emails, we need to have those stats. So you need to gather that data and be very aware of how much revenue is coming in. And then I want you to also I would love for you to understand in the past, months or maybe even the past year, has that revenue from your emails gone up? Has it gone down? Like, what is the trend of your email marketing? Email marketing should account, well, industry averages. I don't know what you've heard. To me, I hear anywhere from like 20% to 30% of your revenue should be coming from email marketing. Is that what you hear?
Yeah, I mean it can range. Like it could be
It can
even as
range
low
even
as
way higher than that.
yeah, I've seen companies that have like starting out working with them, and it's like 10%. And it depends when you start to scale, your attribution models become more complicated and
Yeah.
therefore, but on average, yeah, I would say a good indication, depending on your business as well and how much you do elsewhere, the email should be a big part of your revenue. And
Yeah.
so you're going to get a good sense of what your total revenue is and how much you're making through email. Um,
And if you're
and
not making 30%, then those are signs that there is a lot of revenue or a lot of money that you are leaving on the table, I would say.
yeah, exactly. And if you're a product-based business, there are certain flows that you could set up that should be making you money while you sleep. And these are things that um, there are ways to do that yourself, but it's about knowing the best way to do that, that's going to generate the most amount for you, but also engage your audience. So there's a lot of balancing going on with when you outsource the person that's looking at your account is making, or at least looking at different ways to approach things. Um, so yeah, the right time is, yeah, in effect, going to be once you've had a look at this data, once you've
Yeah.
made that decision, and then it's about looking at how you might want to start budgeting for help. So there are
Yeah.
different ways to get help. You could have someone who is simply like a VA, kind of for a small business owner, all the way up to a fully fledged agency. And it really depends on your budget and the kind of support you are looking for. So if you want someone to write your emails and send a few newsletters out for you and maybe build a few flows and maybe as a freelancer for you. I would say if you do go down the VA route, just make sure they have experience in email marketing because um, there are lots of VAs that say they know email, but I would just question them to say, what have they done in the past? Um, what platforms have they worked with? And then you go all the way through to agencies. But in between that, you do get, consultancies like myself and Angie, who
Like
actually
us.
are really
Yep.
experienced.
Yeah.
And we offer, different kinds of services. So it might be just want a strategy call, it might be you want a full audit. There are a number of ways you can work with someone. It doesn't have to be on a retainer basis, although that could work really well for you if you just want to outsource. I know definitely some clients come to me and say, I just want to take this off my to-do list.
Yeah.
Whereas others may say, I just need some help figuring out where I'm going wrong, and so I can get back on track. And that's absolutely fine as well. There's no right or wrong here. It's just about what is right for you. And actually recognizing, as we've said earlier, that it's affecting your business by not taking action.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also like your time, right? Like how much do you value your time? How much time are you spending on this stuff? And is that time that you're spending on this stuff actually resulting in dollars for your business, right? Um, I'm right there with you. Like there is a full range. Like you could pay someone, you could pay a VA in the Philippines for like $7 an hour to help you just like send the emails, make sure that they have, like Clara said, some experience inside of your account because again, email accounts can be complex and it's not like every Joe Schmo can just like come in and like learn a brand new email account. It's going to take them time. So you either want to budget for that time to train them or, hire someone who already is specialized in that. And one thing to keep in mind is, I mean, I feel strongly about this. You get what you pay for. So if you have a lower budget, then just hire someone to put the templates together or to schedule the email or do like the really simple stuff. Um, and then as you maybe free up more time and you're sending more emails and you're making more money, then you can look at outsourcing to someone like me or Clara who, can give you strategy or end up doing the whole thing. But yeah, like Clara said, we also have like audits and strategy calls. But I will say that my clients who actually get the best results and who see the highest return on investment do invest in just outsourcing to us. I think like at the end of the day, that should be your goal, is to one day like outsource it completely. That's when you're going to be able to make the most money off of your email marketing channel. That's what we see time and time again. Of course, there's going to be people out there who can do it themselves and, are able to make the money themselves. Kudos to you. But I still kind of think like as a CEO, as a business owner, is your time spent better elsewhere?
Yeah, and I completely agree. And one of the things to think about, let's say budget is tight right now,
Mhm.
what I would do as a small business owner is get someone in to help me simply send my newsletter on a
Yeah,
regular
just get them
basis.
out.
Just get them out
Yeah.
and keep that consistency going. So you're nurturing your audience, you're even making sales through that while you figure out the other things. At the very minimum, don't not send anything, particularly if you've got a list. I always find that when people say to me, I've got a list of, I've got a list of 200 or 300 people at least, but I haven't sent anything to them in 6 months. And I just think, what a shame. You could
They're
be,
gone.
yeah, you could be earning money from your list and
Yeah.
you're sat in procrastination and you're not doing anything with it. So if you want to get results and you don't have time, then hire someone to come in and
Yeah.
actually, we talked about this, touching on mindset. This is about letting go and letting someone into your business. And I know that feeling. There's, trust that comes into it, and there's a kind of feeling that you're allowing someone to send something out on your behalf. But you can determine all of that. You can sign off on each of the emails. You can give them
Yeah.
a tone of voice document.
Yeah.
There's so much in your control,
It
but
can be a
yet,
collaboration still.
yeah, but yet you are not doing the work. You're simply signing off. And then, you can work with your freelancer to say, right, when should I expect to see results in terms of the performance? And they can help you by sharing that with you. So it is scary letting someone into your business. I've been there and I know exactly how it feels. But if you read any of the kind of big business books out there, they all tell you that outsourcing is the key to success for your business.
Yeah.
There's no one that I know that is super successful that does everything themselves. Like, can you think of anyone that
No.
literally sends
No.
their own emails, does their own
No.
social media? You
Mm-mm.
at some point, and it's a good sign if you're ready to outsource, because it means you're generating some level of income to bring people in to help you. And you can
Yeah.
determine what that looks like. It doesn't have to be forever. If you have this fear of committing to working with someone, and understandably, if you've had bad experiences, you can say, let's trial this for 1 month or 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Put a
You can
time limit
trial
on
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's not working with that one person, it probably just means that that person like wasn't a good fit for your business or didn't have the skills that
Yeah.
you needed them to have, and
Yeah.
you probably don't know what skills you need in an email marketer, to be honest. So it might take some trial and error, and that's okay. I would say, go through it. It's totally worth it to find your email person because again, the return is just 36 to 1, right? $36 to every $1
It's
you spend on email marketing. Like, so if
yeah.
you're paying someone monthly for your email marketing, you should on average get a return of $36 for every $1 you spend on them. Okay. So if you're not getting that, there's somebody else who will be able to give you that because that's the average.
Yeah. And it's such an amazing stat that people still to this day don't realize the impact of that. And even if you have a free platform, let's say you're paying for someone to come in, look at what you're paying them versus the return you're making from
Yeah.
email. It should pay for them and then some. So
Yeah.
I always get really excited when I do a strategy call because I'm sharing things that people don't necessarily think they can do. And I think at the very minimum, as I've said before, get a newsletter going, and then you can really start to do some of the fun stuff around the flows, the automations, and what have you. But the first thing above all of this is making that decision, and it's not easy. letting anyone into your business is not easy, but one of the things I do recommend is getting, well, first of all, do your research, look at who you're going to work with, get a sense of who they are on social media, sign up to their email list, see if they do their own emails. That's always a good sign. But then also think about reputation and referrals as well. So there are multiple ways for people to help you. But as your business starts to grow, you're going to need more sophisticated help. You're going to need people that really understand strategy. And that's the kind of work that Angie and I do. We love helping people. We also offer retained work as well. But it really depends on the client and the kind of challenges they're facing. But really what we want to say here is don't be afraid to let go of this and give it a chance, see what happens working with someone, what they can do, and think of all that free time you'll have back.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like we said, in our experience with the clients that do that with us, they see an increase in their sales, like they do get a return on investment in investing with us, because email marketing, again, is still the #1 online sales channel for business owners. So if it's not for you, then something isn't working and it might be time to outsource. And again, you can start very small. And the first thing that I would do is create a budget to hire someone to get people in. And what can you get for that budget? Even if it's $500 for the month. Okay, what can I get for $500, and see what you can, get some help with. So let us know if you have any more questions about this. I know some of this is clear as mud. It's like, when is it the best time? Typically, that's up to you, what your stats are, what's going on in your business. But I would be working towards, as quickly as you can, working towards completely outsourcing this channel. It's only going to grow your business and grow your sales even more, the more that you can do that.
Absolutely. And this is one of the best ways to grow your business. So why would you be trying to do it yourself when it's not necessarily your area of expertise? So this allows you the whole point of this podcast is to allow you to let go of trying to learn about email.
Learn this crazy new skill. Yeah.
Learn this new skill that is absolutely possible if you have time. But most small business owners don't. And therefore you want to be focusing on what you do best and what you love. So this is really a way for you to start thinking about, how can I enable that? How can I make that happen for me? And it's completely possible.
Yes. All right. I think that's all we have for today. If you guys have any more questions or comments, definitely let us know. And we will see you on the next episode, right?
Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening. See you on the next episode.
Bye.
You've just listened to Females Across the Pond and Beyond podcast with your hosts, Clara and Angie. If you like our content, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on the platform of your choice. Is there something you want to hear about for our next episode? Email us at femalesacrossthepond@gmail.com to let us know. Until next time.